Oh, hello there. Hello, hello, hello. So, oh, there is so much stuff going on right now, and has been for like a week with Nicholas Rekieta. May 20th, to be exact, is when a lot of this stuff started popping up from what we could see. So, the always question of where to start. I guess that the first place that I'll start is I'll say you where what my relationship with Rekieta with Rekieta Law's channel is. I've been watching Nicholas Rekieta for quite a while, and honestly, up until about like a half year ago, I really enjoyed watching his material. He'd get in fights with people, but but he typically where's he was where's he'd be an ass. He didn't tend to go into the full-on edge lord or hedonistic stuff. But about 6 months ago, Rekieta, maybe a little bit more. I haven't actually looked up the exact dates of when I stopped watching, but he started this spiral away from law and into really deep into stuff with Baldos and talking about, like I said, hedonistic stuff. And I was not there for it, so I pretty much stopped watching. I'd occasionally you get I'd occasionally see a clip from it, and typically it reminded me why I stopped watching in the first place. So, given that, and and I didn't really witness the entire spiral, the downward spiral as it happened, but I saw some of the high points. Then and then last Monday, it, or I should say last Tuesday, because it was the Monday stream. You, you, I started getting sent clips of of Rekieta from that stream, and just how he was just falling over drunk, and didn't even know that his camera was still on. He's like, "Why my camera still on?" And during said stream, apparently he left to take a bathroom break for about 45 minutes, from what people told me, and he came back with a white powdery substance on his nose. I mean, that's not great. So that kind of sets the stage. Oh, and also for anyone who doesn't know about, oh, some of the things that actually brought Rekieta to prominence, and one of his first things was as what was the something called the LOL suit, which I've only seen a little bit of, and I believe that had something that, ah, I think that might have been with Medicare. And then after that, he live streamed the Rittenhouse trial with a whole bunch of panelists, which then started people talk about LawTube, and it actually had a relatively it hit. Hey, hey, music head tomboy, and it actually had an effect on the real world, not just regular streaming, because as, since Rekieta started having more of a more success with his streams than Long Crime Stream, they started feeling the need to actually fight back. So after that, other mainstream channels started having commentators on the trials rather than just streaming the trials. So that's a large part of how Nick got really big. And then after that, there was the Johnny Depp trial, went like gangbusters. He he basically had he, I think he may have been the top super chat earner just overall, but I don't have those numbers on hand. So this ban, went from being a small-time lawyer in Spicer, Minnesota, to suddenly having a shit ton of money. I mean, I don't know how much money. And hello, Mammoth. Eh, n- but let's just say shit ton of money. He somewhat recently, before I stopped watching him decide that he was going to start his midlife crisis and bought a Mustang. So yeah, this is the kind of money we're talking about. Now, fast forward to what happened last Monday. It, he'd been spiraling downhill, downhill, downhill. See the video where he's. I don't think I actually saw that one. Is that a recent one? Did you see the video where he shed all over Vic for not doing anything about his stalkers? No, I don't think I saw that one. Damn. I did see something from that most recent stream where he was shitting all over his current lawyer, and claiming that his lawyer was doing things that he didn't ask him to do, which goes against things that Rekieta actually did in fact say he wanted. Hey, hamster. Oh, it's almost certainly on Alyssa's on the Alyssa Clips channel. I can look it I can look it up, but there's a ton of stuff there right now. So yeah, and like I said, he's been spiraling the drain, in and he got involved with this other couple from the Steel Toe Morning Show, Aaron Imholte and April Imholte, and apparently April Imholte, he became their live-in nanny or live-in side piece. I mean, however you want to look at it, because they were swinging with her and him, and yeah. I mean, honestly, when you start trying to, I am talking about some court stuff. Yes, I will be getting to that, but we're not to the court judgment yet. We're at the beginning stage where where they're doing the charging and search warrants, stuff like that. But I'm currently going over the background. Yes, sir. So, oh, like I was saying, the first time I tried to explain this to somebody else, I started realizing that this sounded like the plot to a really bad movie. And I mentioned that to my wife, and she said, or a really bad porno. And I mentioned that to another person, and he said, or a really good porno. And that entire back and forth just made me just made me laugh my ass off. So anyway, the stage is set. They've got lots of money on hand. Nick has been spiraling the drain, going down, down. Went to the bathroom well on stream. Came back, and was very manic as well as drunk. So, which I think is important to keep in mind, that he didn't come back really drunk. He came back manic after he'd been drinking a ton, which is why when you add that together with him having white powder on his nose, it might be cocaine. So, oh no, we saw Nick Rekieta get arrested and on, I believe it was that Wednesday, and the complaint for him and was that he got charged drugs, second degree possession of 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. And I can tell you right now that it was the cocaine, because I have looked through the other documents. And 25 grams, if you don't do the drugs, it's not easy to know what 25 grams really means. So I did the math based on my own prescription meds that I take, and a yearly dose of methylphenidate, i.e., Ritalin, and that I take, I mean, dose, my the added up for throughout the 365 days a year comes out to 25 or 26 grams. So he had a basically the same amount of cocaine in his possession as I would have of my meds throughout the year. And yikes, I can't even imagine. So that has a maximum sentence of 25 years or $500,000 or both. I mean, that is top up maximum. We're not saying that he's going to get that. Hell, one thing that we do actually need to keep in mind when talking about any of this stuff is that we do have to remember innocent until proven guilty. That may not always be apparent but we only know what we've been shown, and we have to go by that. What we're talking about stuff. So just so that we understand that. So count two: possessing ammo or a firearm while you're a user of controlled substances. Now, this is something that I know of at least one lawyer that is very up in arms about. That and they're very upset that the Second Amendment is being violated because the Second Amendment doesn't say anything about substances. Eh, if a person is coked out of their mind, I'm not really sure I want to have them around weapons. Eh, just saying. And people who've watched me stream and come in while I end up talking about Second Amendment might be surprised to hear me say that, but mm. And then count three: endangering a child, permanent presence, sale, possession, blah blah blah. What that basically means is that Nick is a parent, legal guardian, or caretaker, and he's endangering the other person's the child, he causing or permitting the child to be present where the person is possessing a controlled substance. So yeah, hey Evo, how you doing? So that is that is the complaint order. Is there? Oh, I didn't even notice that this stuff was part of this document that I have here. Okay, so this has the statement, a probable cause document with it. Yeah, it's really any substance. Don't if you're drunk or high, don't touch firearms. Just don't. Uh, completely agreed, music head. Completely agreed. So the complainant states that the following facts establish probable cause. By the way, I've got some other documents that will probably bring us back in time from here because this is being done after the search warrant was executed. But we actually have the application for the search warrant and the search warrant itself, and we actually have the police incident report as well. And I'm intending to go through all of that. So you know, let's see. Let's make this a little bit bigger so that if anyone wants to follow along, they can. There we go. The complainant states the following facts establish probable cause. Your complainant, a licensed peace officer, is employed by the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office. In this capacity, your complainant believes the following to be true and correct. On May 23rd, 2024, at approximately 9:13 a.m., approximately 9:13, A search warrant was executed at their home. Um, and by the way, anybody who gets upset that this is not redacted can get bent. This is a public document. So, they were executing the search warrant. As law enforcement approached the residence, and Nick Rekieta was traveling southbound on 51st in a vehicle. This is important because Nick was not in the house when when they arrived there. Nick Rekieta was stopped by law enforcement. Upon knocking on the door, a juvenile female opened the door and wouldn't let them in. Yeah, Nick Rekieta would not provide the door code to enter the residence. Understandable. So law enforcement entered the home utilizing a door ram. Now, what what I would like to say here is that I've seen so many people assume that by using a door ram, that means that they entered SWAT style, breaking down the door. Rah! A door ram can be as simple as whacking at whacking at the handle part of the door and just breaking that part of it open so that they can just nudge it open after that. It doesn't have to be the full on movie style raid door ram. And if they had a search warrant and they were being denied access, guess what? That's what they're gonna do. So, upon entry, law enforcement located Kayla Rekieta and April Imholte and four juveniles, which are four of their children. Officers noted that the home was extremely cluttered. There were clothes everywhere, dirty dishes, dust, and an overall dirty home. I'm going to mention here there were a lot of people at first who were questioning why this detail was put in. The reason why this detail was put in is because there was a report about possible neglect of the children. So, oh, this is, I'm assuming, to back that part of it up. So, yeah, Nicholas Rekieta returned into the home with law enforcement. He demanded a copy of the search warrant. When given a copy, he looked at it and threw it on the ground. Yeah, yes, dirty home. And this is with five children. During the search, law enforcement located the following in the master bedroom. Um, um, the following items were located in the master bedroom near the nightstand. I would like to point out that this is not in the safe. Yellow snort tube, positive for cocaine. Black vial with white substance inside that field tested positive for cocaine and weighed 2.2 grams. Two credit cards listed to April Imholte. Two 22 caliber spent shell casings on the floor of the nightstand in the master bedroom. I still have questions about why those are there. And yeah, it doesn't look good, Musica. It doesn't. The following item was located underneath the bed in the master bedroom. A Sig Sauer AR with several magazines and loose ammunition just underneath the bed in the master bedroom. Now, followed item that was located in the master bedroom dresser. A glass container with metal filter and grinder and glass container that field tested positive for cocaine. And now the following items were located in a safe in the master bathroom. I'm not sure whether the safe was open or not. A bag with cards and dollar bill that field tested positive for cocaine. I did see somebody make an amusing comment that at, that if you test any dollar bill, there's a good chance that somebody used it for cocaine. Large corner cut baggie with white powder that field tested positive for cocaine and weighed 18.96 grams with packaging. Three small baggies that field tested positive for cocaine and weighed 5.49 grams with packaging. You'll notice that they are stating with packaging, and there's a certain amount of people that are that are pointing that out because if they can and get rid of the weight from the packaging, then it'll be under 25 grams, which means that it will magically bring it down to a lower or to a lower charge. And okay, maybe, but it's still a shit ton. 8 green-colored tablets that field tested positive for ketamine. A digital scale that field tested positive for cocaine. Metal pan with white powder on it that tested positive for cocaine. 2 snort tubes and 2 metal cutters. The snort tubes tested positive for cocaine. The following items were located in a safe in the master bedroom closet. A $100 bill with white powder residue that field tested positive for cocaine. A bindle white bag with white powder substance that field tested positive for cocaine. A cocaine scooper, which apparently is a specific thing, which I never knew about before. 2 baggies within a baggie with a funnel. And an unknown brown substance, which a lot of people are speculating on. I don't know anywhere near enough to speculate on that myself. So, additional firearms and ammunition were located in the garage. Total amount of measurable cocaine in the master bedroom was 26.67 grams with packaging. Cocaine is a Schedule II controlled substance. Ketamine is a Schedule I controlled substance. Detective Pamplum met with Nick Rekieta outside the residence. He has read his Miranda rights and he agreed to speak with officers without counsel. Which, what the fuck, dude? You are one of the people, along with every other lawyer I've ever come across, as always says, do not speak without counsel. They talk about some skit that they call "Shut the fuck up Friday." Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. So I don't know what he was thinking here. Nick Rekieta indicated that he sleeps in the master bedroom with Kayla Rekieta. He indicated that April Imholte was at the home visiting, and right there, I mean, yeah, you probably do sleep in the master bedroom with Kayla, but did he really need to tell them that? Nick Rekieta and Kayla Rekieta were placed under arrest. While being placed under arrest, Detective Pamplum noted several injuries to the arms of Nick Rekieta that appeared consistent with sores that are common with controlled substance users. I would like to mention that it, I, a lot of people speculate track marks on this, but I don't. If there were track marks, why didn't they find needles? And what I think that those injuries slash sores is that he was using a lot of cocaine. When somebody is really hopped up on stimulants, a lot of times they start picking at themselves, and that's where those sores would come from. Just saying. So they were transported to Candiac County Jail. Kayla Rekieta did not speak with officers. Good girl. At the jail, Nick was again read his Miranda rights and agreed to speak with officers without an attorney. Nick Rekieta refused to answer any questions regarding cocaine or other controlled substance use. And from what I have heard from at least one lawyer, the fact that he agreed to talk with the fact that he agreed to talk with them could make it so that his refusal to answer any questions regarding the cocaine or controlled substance use might be able to be used against him. I don't know. Nick Rekieta indicates that he lives in the residence. He stays in the master bedroom with his wife, Kayla Rekieta. April Imholte was a friend who was visiting and does not live at the residence. Yet we've heard a lot about her being the live-in nanny. While being booked into the jail, Kayla Rekieta requested that her prescription medication be brought to her. Upon reviewing the prescription bottles for Kayla Rekieta that were brought to the jail staff found two unknown pills and gummies in one of the prescription bottles. These items did not match the prescription on the bottle. What the hell? I mean, okay, you're already being brought to jail for problems with drugs. So then you ask so then you ask the police to bring a prescription bottle to you that has something in it that's not part of your prescription. What the hell? Please take notice. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute 60949, intentional failure to appear for duly scheduled appearances may result in additional criminal charges in addition to any arrest warrant that may otherwise be issued by the court. Okay, so that's that. I don't think we need to go over the charging sheet for Kayla because I think it's going to be pretty much the same. Well, actually, there's one difference. The charge for her with the children is neglect or endangerment of a child. So, but that pretty much but the charge description pretty much comes out to be the same as the original one. And yeah, a lot of this I would agree is addict behavior. It's Nick thinking that he can just spin it just right. So that's that's their charging. Now, here's something where I have a little bit more to personally say because we got to see a report about from a mandatory reporter, and I'm in Iowa. This is in Minnesota, and from what I'm uh, to, music head to my understanding, the kids are with their grandparents right now. They aren't in foster or anything like that. They are with family. So I was at first confused when I was reading this because as a mandatory reporter in Iowa, I don't I have actually submitted two cases myself, and I've been on the opposite end of it as well at one point because well, bad shit went down and they had to investigate me to clear me. So I've actually had experience on both sides of this particular stick. So in Iowa, when I need to file a mandatory report, there's a specific number that I call, and and it varies a little bit based on whether or not but based on whether it's dependent adults or actual minors. But either way, I don't go directly to the police. So when I saw this, I was like, "What is this about?" Because this is a police report saying that somebody came in and that they have a mandatory reporting issue I want to speak with an officer about, which I found bizarre because when I've done a report, I've called the number. I didn't say I have a mandatory reporting issue I want to speak to an officer about. It was okay. Here's the problem, and I got interviewed over the phone, and I submitted an actual report. They seem a lot more slapdash about mandatory reporting in Minnesota than they are in Iowa, to be frank. So this is the mandatory reporting thing. There's really not much to it. Like I say, it's the main interesting thing here is that that report was on the 16th, and the arrest was on what was on the, what was a week later. I believe it was. The 16th. Then the infamous stream was on the 20th, and they were arrested on the 22nd. So that's most of what there is to see there. Now, a few days later, there the application for the search warrant came out because with all the people who are like, well, there's a mandatory reporter. Did they just go in because because somebody quote unquote snitched or whatnot? So, here we get the actual application for the search warrant, which shows us us approximately what proof they had to get it to get probable cause, which I would like to make very clear right now because a lot of people keep talking about how you can't do stuff based on hearsay. Hey, where's the proof? This wouldn't be admissible in court, guys. The search warrant is here to get proof. We are not talking about beyond a reasonable doubt. We are talking about needing to get probable cause, which is basically after doing an outside investigation where they don't need the search warrant, they put together all of the details and then they show it to a judge and go, "Oh, this is why we believe we need the search warrant." It's not based on one thing. It's not based on two things. I mean, it can be if the police officer actually saw the person through the window snorting that coke. In that case, it could be based on one thing, but but it doesn't have to be. It can be circumstantial evidence. It can be 10 different things that add up to knowing that add up to this is why we believe we need search warrant. So, application for search warrant. And Quinn Pomplun, by the way, lovely name. Him, a licensed peace officer in the state of Minnesota, make an application to this court for a warrant to search the premises and persons described below for the property and things described below. I know the content of this application and affirm that the statements contained in this application are true based on my own knowledge or are believed to be true. I believe that the following described property and things, namely, controlled substances, including methamphetamine, cocaine, or any other controlled substances prohibited by law and paraphernalia commonly associated with the sales/uses of controlled substances. Items that would show controlled substance use that would not qualify as legal drug paraphernalia is or are at the premises and on the persons described as. Whoop, the residence has a tar driveway leading east from 51st Street Northeast. Residence is 2 stories with a 3-stall garage. Main door is located on the south or southwest side of the residence. And Nick Rekieta is located in the city or township of blah. I apply for a search warrant on the following grounds. The possession of the property or things above described constitutes a crime. The property or things above described constitutes evidence which tends to show a crime has been committed, or tends to show that a particular person has committed a crime. The facts establishing the grounds for issuance of a search warrant are as follows. Your affiant is Detective Quinn Pomplun, a licensed peace officer in the state of Minnesota since 2009. Your affiant has been employed by the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office since 2013. And by the way, since I've seen a lot of people when reading these not know what an affiant is this is an affidavit. So Quinn Pomplun, the person writing this affidavit, is the affiant. Since 2018, your affiant has been assigned to the detective division on a full-time basis, focusing on felony-level crimes. This is basically his CV. including but not limited to criminal sexual conduct, homicide, death investigations, missing persons, fatal motor vehicle crashes, burglary, theft, harassment, stalking, assaults, controlled substances, child sex abuse material, and financial crimes. From 2013 to 2018, your affiant was assigned to the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office Patrol Division for investigating street level crimes, including but not limited to driving under the influence, controlled substance crimes, thefts, burglaries, assaults, financial crimes, frauds, and domestic violence. Blah. Mm. From 2010 to 2013, Afia was employed as the chief of police for the Sacred Heart, Minnesota Police Division, which included responsibilities of administration, investigations, and patrol. Afia has attended hundreds of hours of training, including but not limited to crime scene investigation, property crimes, criminal sexual conduct, criminal interdiction, assaults, domestic violence, hate crimes, child sex abuse material, active shooter, death investigation, aquatic death investigation, elder abuse, but vulnerable adult financial abuse, financial crimes, firearms, less lethal munitions, diversionary devices, chemical agents, cellular phone extractions, cellular tower investigations, and evidence collection. Fun times. Your affiant is certified in firearms instruction, SWAT team leader, cellular phones technology, mapping and analysis, less lethal munitions instruction, flash sound diversionary devices instruction, chemical agents instruction, DMT operator, boat and water ATV and snowmobile safety operator, Glock armor, Alice instruction, and is a former drug recognition evaluator. That last one is probably kind of important. Okay, now that we have his now that we have his CV out of the way, on May 16th, 2024, Kandayohi County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Dave Nestor received a report regarding possible child neglect and controlled substance use. The reporter indicated that Nicholas Robert Rekieta resides at Blue in Kandayohi County. He resides at this residence with his wife Kayla Christine Rekieta, date of birth, blah, and has 5 children, ages 6 to 16. So I think it's important to note that yes, one of them is 16 years old, but we also have a 6-year-old. The reporter indicated that 4 people from their church had gone to him reporting the neglect to the children, possible controlled substance abuse, and a questionable relationship with an additional couple. Yeah. Personally, if you want my opinion, I don't really see how the questionable relationship really has much to do with anything. I mean, as far as the search warrant goes, but I suppose that if that reporter told them that, well, I guess, and and it it's interesting that it doesn't mention here that it was a mandatory reporter, but I suppose that it doesn't that for the purposes of this, it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, and it says that. So it was reported that Nick is a social media blogger, and I've seen multiple people on LawTube just get really pissed off by the basically being called social media bloggers. And he and his wife Kayla had befriended a host from different local social media blogger. Those individuals were identified as Aaron Michael Imholte and April Diane Imholte. Your affiant knows personally these are the personalities of the Steel Toe Morning Show, which used to be in St. Cloud, Minnesota radio. However, as of recent years, that show has been a social media entertainment show, strictly online based. So apparently, this Pumplum um, actually happens to know about the Steel Toe Morning Show. It's reported that the Imholtes may have been staying with the Requetas, and the home was in disarray and cluttered. Which music head is the part where I was mentioning that's why in the charging document they with the probable cause they mentioned what the home looked like. It was reported from a church preschool teacher that the children had complained of being hungry and not being fed, and wearing the same clothes for 3 to 4 days at a time and would start to smell. Nicholas was reported to being lethargic and appeared high or drugged driving a car around. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I find that hard to believe because Nick would get blackout drunk on, by like 2, 3 in the morning, and then he, by his own words, would get up and start driving his kids to their events and stuff. If you get blackout drunk, you're not necessarily sober when you wake up a few hours later. Just saying. So, uh, and I would find it interesting to know who reported what, because apparently it was just this one pastor who reported, but he was reporting based on what 4 other people told him. One of whom was the preschool teacher, who I will guarantee you they themselves were a mandatory reporter. The fact that that preschool teacher did not make a report is legally questionable, frankly, because if they actually believed the stuff that they reported to the pastor, they were legally required to report it themselves. This is part of what I'm talking about, where I actually know whereby part of being a mandatory reporter kind of comes into play here, because I'm focused on who's a mandatory reporter. Why didn't this person report it? Things like that. So another individual advised that is the reporter that Aunt Nicholas will walk out randomly during sermons at church and has noticed behavioral changes in him. Whereas people might say, well, who cares if he walks out randomly during sermons? If if that's not what he's done in the past, if that's new behavior, like let's say having those behavioral changes in him, that actually, because changes in behavior is something that frankly in some of our mandatory reporting, and I've had multiple mandatory reporter trainings over the years, and one of them actually does what one thing's in there is that it talks about, oh, paying attention to behavioral changes, because when there's behavioral changes, a lot of times there's a reason for it. It was alleged as Kale looks anorexic, and Nick has lost a substantial amount of weight recently. To my understanding, he lost about 60 pounds over the past 6 months. And if you look at the pictures of him, he looks like a dead man. Well, I was about to say dead man walking, but actually dead man sitting. Dead man sitting and looking at ceiling cats. What one individual described Nicholas as of having injection or track marks on his arms. Honestly, I'm going to say that those are probably mosquitoes. And the reason why I say that is that I was just I actually just went to Minnesota for a Twins game with my clients, and we'll say in the bus, while they left the door open, I wish they didn't do that. I started getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I was starting to just whack them against to whack them against the window, and they had obviously gotten enough of federal enough that they were lethargic themselves, which made them easy targets, and I got blood splatters on the window. So since, like I said before, they didn't end up finding needles. I don't think that he was. I don't think those are track marks. I'm willing to buy that those are mosquito bites. The reporter reiterated concerns for possible neglect and or controlled substance use within the home. Your affiant started to review Rekieta's and Imholte's social media blogs. This part I love. This kills me. For all the people that that are complaining that all of this is that the search warrant is based on on are based on Karen's at his church. No, that's what started it. It it they got the church called it out to the police, and then he started to review Rekieta's streams and Emote's streams. The blogs are commonly related to legal issues and high-profile trials as Nicholas is a licensed attorney. Nicholas is known to drink alcoholic beverages excessively on these video blogs. I would mention that one of the ways that he is known is as the whiskey drinking lawyer. So yeah, I immediately noticed that Nicholas's appearance in recent months has changed. In videos from January 2024 compared to May 2024, Nicholas appears to have lost weight, appears tired, and overall appears strung out, common with controlled substance users. And if you recall, I mentioned about that the spiral seems to have happened from my from my viewpoint in about the last 6 months. So this is pretty concurrent with that. So Nick commonly refers to his studio as his basement in his own residence. Nicholas has been the victim of swatting phone calls that is known to your affiant and the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office because of these calls. Also, when the Kandiyohi office responded to these calls, they were at bloop. While reviewing Iholte's social media video blogs, Aaron recently indicated that he and April are getting a divorce. Aaron goes on to say that he has experimented with cocaine 3 times and Molly 6 or 7 times in the past recently. And now keep in mind that they recently were hooking up with Rekieta and stuff. On 12/19/2023, the Impulse broadcasted a podcast from Rekieta's studio with the podcast being named Live from Spicer. Throughout Imholte's video blogs, it is apparent that they and the Requietas were friends, and they have recently had a falling out. Yeah, if you see anything that Aaron Imholte has been putting out recently, that there's definitely a falling out between them. Should be noted that in the recent videos of the Imholtes, April has at least appeared tired, lethargic, and strung out as well. In both Nicholas's and Imholte's video blogs from Rekieta Studio, it is apparent they are in the same room and the items in the background appear the same. At one point during the Imholte's video, Nicholas walks in the background and grabs an item to show that the background is not a backdrop curtain and that it was the layout of the actual room, i.e., that they're not playing around with a green screen, and that they are in fact in the same room. On 5/22/2024, Imholte did a video blog, which keep in mind that is 2 days after the infamous drunk scream from Nick, which had everybody all up in arms. Where he talked about Nicholas and insinuated controlled substance abuse, and also referenced a video blog that Nick put online on 5/21/2024. It has since been taken off the internet. Yeah, it got taken off the internet while I was in the middle of watching it. to be to be frank, interestingly, he took it off YouTube before he took it off Rumble. Because when I first tried to go look at it, I couldn't find it on YouTube. So then I went and I found it on Rumble. And then I was watching on Rumble, and then it disappeared while I was watching it. Imholte indicates in this blog that Nick needs help and needs to get help for his kids because of the substance abuse. So they have evidence of Aaron talking about talking about Nick doing substance abuse. Yay. Imholte points out a time in the video where Nicholas had white powdery substance on his nose. I keep on seeing that picture, and I personally don't see the white powder, but I also have issues with some minor color blindness, so I'm not the person to be talking to about that. So many people have seen it and pointed out and everything that I believe it's there. On 5/22/2024, your affiant was able to review the video that was taken off of Nicholas's YouTube and Rumble social media sites. Now, whereas it does not say where he was able to find it, I'm going to bet you that he found it on Kiwi Farms. Which, by the way, is where I found all of these nice documents we're going through. The video is from 5/21/2024 and is of Nicholas in his basement studio, talking about a court appeals ruling that he lost. Yes. And if anyone is really interested, I can talk about that a little bit, but yeah. He appears in the video to be drinking alcoholic beverages and eventually appears under the influence of a substance or substances. The entire video blog is 4 hours and 4 minutes long. Approximately 2 hours and 46 minutes into the video, Nick leaves to go to the restroom. When he returns at 2:50, which this part makes me wonder because everybody told me that it was a 40-minute bathroom break in which he chat was roasting him the entire time. But according to this, it's only 5 minutes. I'm wondering. Oh, I'm actually looking at my number pad right now. I'm thinking that he might have accidentally keyed a 4 instead of the 1 because the 1 is right below the 4 and just missed that. Because if that was 2 hours 16 minutes, that would come out to much closer to the right amount of time. I mean, I don't know, but that would make sense. And I mean, it's a document, and it's written by a human being. There can be errors. So when he returns at 2:50:40, he appears to be making an excited look and has a white powdery substance on his nose. Like I was saying, manic. Your affiant believes his behavior is indicative of central nervous system stimulants. And for all people say that you can't that somebody like this can't and diagnose what what you're using from a stream. Note that he's not saying that that he knows that this is cocaine. He's saying that it looks like a large class of them. So come on. I mean, how does he know that it's coke? Well, he doesn't, but he's got good reason to believe. He's heard he's heard from Aaron Imholt that Nick uses, and then he sees white powder and behavior that goes along with it. You put 1+1+1+1 together, and you get 4. Your affiant believes, based on training and experience, as well as the behavior of Nicholas, that he ingested this white powder substance through his nasal cavity well off camera. And to add a little bit of color commentary here, one of the joking nicknames for Nick is that he is Nicholas the Nose, because everyone talks about how big of a nose he has. So, your affiant knows through training and experience that ingesting controlled substance through a nasal cavity is common amongst controlled substance users and is often referred to as snorting. Your affiant also noted that throughout the video, Nicholas is so under the influence of a substance to the point he has to close one eye to read his screen. I noticed that. Rambles and slurs his speech. Oh yeah, he was much worse than normal on this. That I really think that he got hit bad with losing that appeal, and I'm betting that he was already drunk when he started this stream. Nicholas would obviously not be able to care for children in this state of intoxication. Yeah. It should be noticed that your affiant was a drug recognition evaluator for several years, and based on your affiant's training and experience, behavior of Nicholas in this video blog indicates polysubstance abuse. I mean, it is believed he was ingesting more than one substance based on his behavior, being both excited and nearly passing out. Like I was saying, manic, but also passing out. I had not read this, but by the way, when I've listened in the background to to other lawyers going through this stuff. This is my first time actually reading it all myself. Well, now use the nose to think about the way it smells. Oh God, yeah. So this can be consistent behavior of using both CNS stimulants and depressants, which is honestly what I was thinking myself after I saw enough of that stream. Your affiant believes that the reports of neglect and controlled substance use are consistent with the previously mentioned information. Your affiant is requesting to search Blue for the above listed items in relation to the welfare of the children in the home and in relation to a controlled substance investigation. Your affiant is also requesting to search Nicholas Rekieta. Okay. And so here's the thing where he is where he requests that the search warrant be issued. And now to Quinn Pomplin and Robbie Brannis, Nick Ardoff, and Dave Nestor, Rob Twid, peace officers of the state of Minnesota. Whereas Quinn Pomplin has this day, under penalty of perjury, made an application to this warrant for a search to search the following described premises and persons. The residence has a, they said, okay, so I think we did, yeah, we did read this part. However, what I should point out to anybody who does not know this little piece of evidence, not evidence, but little fun fact, Jennifer K. Fisher is the judge in his civil court case where he had just lost that appeal, and whom on these streams that are basically being used as evidence, he has also shit talked this particular judge, including something about her drinking alcohol out of her own vagina. Classy. So, yeah. So, that is the search warrant. And now is the stuff that I had to hunt around on on Kiwi farms to find. Looks to me like they found it from looking at Kino Casino. If I recognize these two correct, these two, which I'm pretty sure I do. So this is apparently the police incident report, which just got. A, I was about to say released yesterday, but I think a better way to put it would be which just got leaked yesterday, which has more details. And then once I'm done going through this, that's most of what I've got. So I believe I have. Let's see, how many pages of this do I have? I've got 6 pages. Okay, so just so everyone's aware, this does have the names of his children in it. I'm not going to. I'm not bothering to redact it. It's already all over the place. Would have been better if they used initials, but yeah, I at least won't read out the names. But yeah, the children reside with their mother and father at their home. And Mellon advised that the Ricketts had a live-in nanny for approximately 4 to 5 years. There's who recently left the Ricketts and began working for another family within the church. This was a first flag for the individuals who reported to Mellon that something was wrong with the Rekieta family. And there could be a lot of different flags. I mean, you know, it's hard to know what's going to make a mandatory reporter believe that they're seeing something, and that's something that a large amount of people don't really seem to get. A mandatory reporter is required to report on something if they honestly believe that there is a problem. There isn't any level of hearsay or why. That is left up to who they talk to decide whether or not their concerns are credible or not. And that's one of the reasons why I have some issues with, yes, let's just have it so that they just go to the local police. I think that it's better for it like it is in Iowa, where we call an agency that is that has people who are specifically he 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 trained in talking to us about it. Like these people who go to the small sheriff's office, the small sheriff's office, they're not going to have people who are specialized in understanding whether or not the mandatory reporter's concerns are accurate or not. That and the same thing will go for a small city in Iowa as well. But even in a small city in Iowa, if you have a concern, you're calling the actual a governmental organization that's going to have people specialized in handling these particular calls, and then they escalate it based on their own experience. And the mandatory reporter has the right to know what they have done or not done with it, but that's about it. They make the report, and then it's in the other it's in somebody else's hands. Anyway, Melanie advised that the former nanny does not know that this report has been made. A total of four anonymous people made contact with Mellon and advised the following information. Nick and Kayla have two homes within the property. Yeah, a family who had been staying in one home renting, you, were asked to leave recently, and nobody is occupying the residence now, which is interesting, but I don't know anything about that. Mm, mm, And I was mentioning that there are going to be typos. Nicola and Kayla Rekieta, and have formed a new relationship with Aaron and April Imolte. I was advised that Aaron Ipolte and Nicholas Rekieta do some type of blogging and/or YouTube radio shows. So, are we on a YouTube radio show right now? Hello, hello, hello! I am on a YouTube radio show. Mellon was advised that the Imholtes moved in with the Requetas as well. The house is in disarray with clothes and other cluster items everywhere. I'm not sure what they mean by cluster items. Eh. But this is part of what we were talking about earlier. Music had about the house being in disarray. And the children are two boys, and three girls. They have been noted to have been wearing the same clothing for 3 to 4 days, with their clothing in disarray and starting to smell. The preschool director at the church that attends is advised Mellon that the younger children have advised her that they're hungry and not being fed, and also made comments about the clothing. One anonymous party advised that they do not believe the children born in 2012 and 2015 are being homeschooled. Oof. Well, the older boy is due to attend school at the Wilmer Community Christian School. So, since they're homeschooled, it's important. And since they're supposed to be being homeschooled, this is an important detail, because if they don't believe if that they are actually being homeschooled, what's going on? All information that is regarding the church to the Rekieta family has now gone to this other person, to the kid. Okay, next page. See here. as a response is not attainable from Nick or Kayla. An anonymous person advised Mellon that they observed Nick being lethargic and appeared to be high or drugged driving a car around. I mean, you, not good. Another anonymous person advised that Nick will walk up randomly during sermons. Yep, we had that before. Anonymous individuals have advised Mellon that they have noticed behavior changes in both Nicholas and Kayla almost appearing now to be anorexic. And Nick, they've lost substantial amount of weight recently. Yep, we had that before. Anonymous individuals have advised that they have seen what was being described as injection or track marks on Nicholas's arms. Yeah, I covered that earlier too. Anonymous individuals advised Mellon that they believe that the impulse of possibly assisting with some type of drug use with Nick and Kayla Rekieta. Nick's blogging and views and/or subscribers are down, possibly resulting in financial issues. Now, for the hell of it, I looked at Social Blade, and I was a bit surprised to see that there was I think it was like $190 worth of social super chats or something in one of the more recent Rekieta streams. When in the past he'd typically have like more than $1,000 in a stream. So yeah, an anonymous person. Oh, and also he's gotten a ton of money in the past, but I've got no clue how much it costs to buy, say, 25 grams worth of cocaine on a regular basis. I honestly have no freaking clue. An anonymous person also advised Mellon that at one point Nicholas and Kayla Rekieta left with the impulse to go to a casino, leaving the children alone. Oh, and putting the oldest son, who was born in 2007, in charge. Mellon was unsure if that was suitable or not. In that case, I don't have that big of an issue with it because, I mean, my sisters is, would babysit us. I don't see an issue with it for like a day for something like that. But I don't know. Mellon advised that nobody told him anything other than possible neglect and/or drug abuse. Is there? Yeah, yeah. Mellon advised that nobody told him anything other than possible neglect and/or drug abuse. And I'm not seeing the rest of it here, but I've heard this multiple times. And it says that there, and it goes on to say that there was no that there was no evidence of physical or sexual abuse of the children, and that's something that is important to mention here. Here, the reason why it's important is that I've seen multiple people, including at least one high-profile lawyer by the name of Robert Barnes, who is who is dishonestly cherry picked from this, that the report states that there is no that there is no abuse, that there's no evidence of abuse, when it actually says that there's no evidence of physical or sexual abuse. And 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 someone like him is saying that because they're saying that, then how dare everybody be talking about possible abuse? No, the reason why that part is important, and again, this part has to do with my knowledge of being a mandatory reporter, is that if there were evidence of physical or sexual abuse, they would not have taken a week to investigate. They would have, have basically been knocking on that door within the day. Since the evidence was of neglect, they felt that they had the time to do a thorough investigation. That is why that statement was important. Not because, oh, there's no abuse happening. No, it was the type of abuse. I happen to know a little bit about that because, like I said, I've been on the other end of the stick, and it took them a while to clear me because they were overworked, and and they felt the need to actually explain it to me because the reason why it took them so long to get to me was because when they get a report of of physical or sexual abuse, they consider that to be, oh shit, we have to take care of this. So since they basically knew that I hadn't done anything and that they're going to clear me anyway, they put me on the back burner so that they could spend their time saving the kids that needed to be saved. So they prioritized things based on what they consider to be imminent danger. And since the kids were not, and since there's no evidence of the kids being physically or sexually abused, they were not seen as being in imminent danger, so they could take the time to investigate it. It's not that hard to understand, but apparently it is hard to understand for people who go out of their way to find every possible excuse. Just saying. Okay, so now this is my third page. The rest of the above-mentioned officers then continued traveling to execute the search warrant, and we arrived at approximately 0913 hours. I'm pretty sure I'm missing part of this incident report, but we're just going to go with what I've got. Chief Deputy he stayed and went to the traffic stop with Sergeant Nestor. When we arrived on scene, we started knocking on the door at the south side of the residence and were able to gain a response from a young female juvenile from within the residence, who advised us that her dad advised her not to open the door for strangers. I'm going to say good for them. We knocked for several moments, indicating we were law enforcement and trying to speak with the juvenile to come open the door for us. We know that there was a keypad on the door and attempted to make radio contact with either Chief Deputy Bauman or Sergeant Nestor when I overheard radio communication from Sergeant Nestor advising that Nick was not going to give us door code to open the door. This was after several moments and an appropriate time for an adult to make it to the door, at which time Detective Nick Ardoff, utilizing a ram, opened the door, causing minimal damage to the door. This is what I was talking about earlier when they said that they used a ram to open the door. They didn't take they didn't take a battering ram and knock the freaking door off its hinges. They took a they took a ram and applied significant force directly to the handle area, most likely, and basically popped the handle out, or popped the latch out, I should say. And so the people who are acting like the police just broke the door down right in front of the kids, it wasn't as bad as people are claiming. While making entry into the residence, I observed as Sergeant Swanson was standing in the kitchen and was making commands for someone to walk towards him. Oh shit! I forgot to share this tab. Here we go. I was holding on the stairway to the downstairs and observed two females come from a hallway in the northern part of the residence towards Sergeant Swanson. They were detained and brought outside. There were two children located on the upstairs floor. We were advised that there was one child downstairs by Kayla. The other female who was detained was Blah. Oh, that was April. They were moved outside, and eventually, while making loud commands into the basement from the top stairs, I observed a juvenile male walk out. I advised him to walk up the stairs, which he complied and went out and stood with his mother. I continued searching the residence, and we located an additional juvenile female in the basement bedroom, who was apparently sleeping. I advised her to walk out with me and her mom, which she agreed to do. She held my hand as we walked outside. Four children were placed outside with their mother, Kayla Rekieta, as well as April Imelte. Yes, sir. So now we got a new page. I, Detective Quinn Pomplin, have been made it aware by Sergeant Dave Nestor. This looks like one of something we've already seen. Okay, I think okay, this one actually looks appropriate. Miranda warning, she indicated she wanted an attorney. Deputies continued to search the residence, and the above listed physical evidence was located and taken into custody of the County Sheriff's Office. Arrangements were made that the grandparents were going to search and secure the residence. We were able to close the door, and we documented the damage to the door. All officers left the scene at approximately 11:05 hours. I traveled back to the Kandiyohi County Law Enforcement Center, where the above list evidence was processed and placed into the Kandiyohi County evidence system. I went to the Kandiyohi County Jail and requested Nicholas Rekieta to speak with me. He indicated he was willing to do so. Yes, sir. He indicated he was willing to do so. I brought him to an interview room with the Kandiyohi County Law Enforcement in, in center. He was again read his Miranda warning. He agreed to speak with us and waived his right to counsel. During our conversation, he refused to answer any questions regarding any cocaine use or any controlled substance abuse. He advised me that he resides within the residence and stays in the master bedroom with his wife Kayla when he sleeps. He indicated that April Imote was just a friend and was visiting, and does not live at the residence. He explained that he is extremely stressed out in regards to his 5 kids and their extra activities. Please see audio recording for further details. I was advised after this interview that somebody had contact with Kayla requesting if their live-in nanny, he would be able to assist with anything at the residence. And, so was advised by Kayla that technically if Holte was their live-in nanny. So yeah, Nick talking to the cops has already shown that either he or Kayla is lying. I provided the kids a copy of law enforcement hold order for each of their children and placed it with their jail property. End of report. So cat ninja, so he lives in a cat den, in the crack den, kind of. I mean, he kind of made it one himself. So yeah. So that is most of the documentation. I'm pretty sure that I missed a little bit, but that's a lot of it. So yeah, fun stuff. Don't do the booger sugar, people. Don't do the booger sugar. Just saying. So, with all that said, do I want him to go to jail? Not particularly. I honestly don't think that he's been secretly a terrible person that for all this time. I think that he's gotten addicted and has a serious problem that's been happening for the last 6 months. And like I said, he's spiraled downhill. Hell, and I I want him in rehab. I think the man needs rehab. I think his children need to be with other family until he is clean and can stay clean. But do I want him in jail? No, I don't. I want him back to being a good parent, like he at least appeared to be in the past. Now that's assuming that more doesn't come out that shows that I'm wrong and he's irretrievably bad. But I am not somebody over here hating on Nicholas Rekieta. From everything that I'd seen from him before the shitstorm happened, before the shitstorm started it last year, he seemed to be a good person. Seemed to be a good father. I want him in rehab. I think that he should be getting. He definitely needs to get off the hard drugs, but frankly, he should probably get off the alcohol too. So that's my opinion. The man needs to go to rehab, and so does Kayla. And they need to stop swinging. Jesus. So that's most what I have for you. Tried to be at least somewhat unbiased in my thoughts. I'm not a lawyer, but I do have a more of a nuanced opinion on some of the stuff due to being a mandatory reporter than some of the lawyers do and other commentators. So hope that hope this was informative. So with that, I am going to sign off. Netcat says good night, y'all.